Just as a follow-up, what type of policies do you think will bring down that current account deficit?
The current account deficit. So the current account deficit is caused by the fact that our imports currently increase our exports. I think at this moment in time, it will actually start coming down naturally, which is good. And the reason for that is we have weak consumer demand, which is decreasing our demand for imports. But at the same time, we have increasing global demand against the backdrop of our weak rand, which is automatically going to result in an increase in exports. However, that isn't enough. The World Bank has pointed out, as I said earlier, that there are infrastructure problems in the export industry, which is acting as a bottleneck. Additionally, so as a result of this, I think there's lots of active policies which we should be taking in order to promote our exports. I have quite a few ideas on these sort of policies. I believe, first of all, the World Bank pointed out that in 2012, South Africa only took advantage of 20% of its potential trade relationships. And I think from that, we really need to be taking fuller advantage of our trade relationships in terms of our position in the BRICS countries. We need to be taking greater opportunity of that with trade. Our position in Africa, we see rising incomes in Africa, rising middle class, urbanization, and I think we really need to be taking greater advantage of this by increasing our trade links with other African countries. At the same time, we need to be increasing the variety of our exports. Currently, we're very dependent on commodities, and we've seen that this isn't a good thing. We've seen with Marikana, with volatile commodity prices, it's not such a good thing to be solely dependent on commodity exports. I think one way to combat this is to look at increasing a culture of beneficiation, where we add value to our commodities. South Africa currently exports a large percentage of the world's proportion of gold, but a very small proportion of jewelry. And I think that's a pity. We should really be taking greater advantage of that. And finally, I think we should be putting greater emphasis on our manufacturing industry, which can lead to exports, and this in turn requires greater productivity, combating corruption, combating red tape, and increasing our competitiveness through education policies, stable electricity and water supply, good governance, and a more efficient functioning labour market.